Hey everybody, welcome to another video, and in this one we're going to be talking about something that I feel needs to be spoken about because you have probably seen my ranking the Assassin's Creed protagonists. It's my most popular video at the moment. If you haven't seen it yet, then I'm pretty surprised. That's probably where the most of my views come from these days. In the video, I really poorly explain why I'm not a fan of Connor. So, in this video, I'm going to explain better. Please bear in mind that this is all in my opinion. If you disagree or have more to add, then the comment section is there and that's what it's used for. So, why do I dislike Connor? Quite simple really, it's his character. No shit. But what about Connor's character did I not like? Well, to me Connor was very hammered in personality wise. He wasn't very likeable because he just lacked that depth that you want with a character. There was nothing there. He was just what you see is what you got. He lacked humanity as a character all around, and you could argue that this is a result of psychological damage from seeing his mother die, so on and so forth. But if that causes a character to be unlikable, then it's obviously not a plot that you should go with. Which brings me into my next point, which is Connor's story, which was unrelatable to me in any way whatsoever. I didn't really care much for it. I didn't even remotely enjoy it because I didn't really like it. And at one point, towards the middle, it gets really fucking confusing in the worst way possible, in the sense that the drive for going through this story has been altered to the point where you may as well give up. And I feel as if that was really irritating. Returning to Connor's character, more specifically the character progression, there was none. What character progression? He started off as a naive kid, he came out the end as a naive man. He went in naive, he came out naive. You could argue that it's just optimism, or he just thinks that he can do something and he just winds up failing and trying again repeatedly because he's insane. But no, he started off naive, he came out naive, he didn't mature that much as a character in the game, and the character progression was very limited, at least to my eyes. And of course, as a result, Connor's character by the end of Assassin's Creed 3 wasn't really developed. It almost felt like it was setting up a sequel that they decided not to do, and they just decided to sack it and move on to the next thing, which, to be honest, I would have preferred a sequel so we could get more development with Connor, because I feel as if there is development to be had there, but we didn't see it in Assassin's Creed 3, and we could have done with an extra game or two to sort of flesh that out a bit more, because obviously what they were trying to do is tell a complex story, and they fucked it up by trying to cram it into one game. It just was turned out as a mess, and as a result of being forced to be one game, and then not having the end of his story there as well, because there is an end to his story that we don't know. Essentially what we got was a very weak-footed story with a really weak-footed character which never really found its footing properly, and we wound up with a mediocre character at best, in my opinion. But you're just an uneducated dickhead who thinks that because you're an Ezio dick rider and shit, yes. The fact that Assassin's Creed 3 came right after the masterpiece of the Ezio trilogy story-wise didn't contribute to how people thought about the character, in fairness, especially for me, because I was so used to this amazing character that is Ezio, and Connor just wasn't that for me. That doesn't make me an arsehole or an Ezio dick rider necessarily. It just makes me not a fan of Connor because he isn't a character that I like. However, I am a fan of Ezio, I will admit. However, I don't think the argument that I only dislike Connor because I'm an Ezio dick rider is applicable, because I do actually have reasoning for my argument against why I think, or my argument there. Fuck, I'm gonna have to restructure this entire thing. But to me, Connor was just not really much of a character as much as he seemed a tool in Assassin's Creed, and I don't mean that as in tools an insult. I mean, he seemed like a weapon. He was quite dangerous as an assassin for sure, but his personality wasn't up to scratch per se, and that's where he sort of had a bit of a downfall for me, that and his story, which didn't really do him any justice either. And I feel as if The voice actor who played Connor did the best job with what he had. However, I don't think he was written right for the story that they were trying to tell, and I feel as if he could have been done a lot better. But in conclusion, Connor's character just didn't have it for me. He was undeveloped, I didn't find him likeable, I couldn't relate to his story, I couldn't enjoy his story in any remote way whatsoever. His character development just didn't exist, and he was sort of a character who probably needed to be approached in a different way to how Ubisoft did it, and all in all it ended up being a bit of a mess. And that's why I'm not a big fan of Connor. But anyway guys, you're of course entitled to your own opinions. If you like Connor, that's completely fine. I will not hate you for that. Be sure to let me know what you think in the comment section. If you like Connor, if you dislike Connor, or if you're like mediocre or whatever, if you're on the fence, stuff like that. Just let me know what you think. If you have anything to add or to argue against my point here, please go ahead and do that. Do bear in mind that if your comment's a bit ridiculous, I am going to screenshot it and post it on Twitter. By ridiculous, I mean malicious, like, you SEO dick rider. So in other words, don't get too upset by this video and make a fool of yourself in the comments, because, trust me, it won't work out very well for you. But on that note, be sure to go ahead and follow my Twitter, which should be on the screen right now. And there should also be a link in the description as a default. But thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, share, comment, and I'll see you all in the next one with another video. So yes, yeah.